Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Elise and I will be your guide for this sketchbook tour. So this is my very first completed sketchbook. I started it. I don't think I noted the first time I used it, but I think I bought that one somewhere around 2019. This is a Moleskine watercolor notebook. As you can see, I put on some stickers. They're very faded now. It used to say Imagine Magical Fantasy. So there's not much to say about the cover. So let's get started. As you can see, I didn't complete the first page and didn't noted the date I started. My very first watercolor in this notebook is, as you can see, a fantasy map. Making fantasy map is a real hobby for me. Often I will have a story in mind. In this specific case, I don't remember if I had a story in mind, but this is a little world I call Magica. Okay, so if I remember correctly, this is the second piece I did in my sketchbook, and I went for a few pages before going back when I realized you can use both sides of the page. I didn't know actually that watercolor paper was strong enough for that. So you have a little test I did with watercolor. I was doing some exercise that was proposed on a YouTube tutorial. I think it's cute. I'm certainly not the first person who think of making a CD on a whale. I think that's something I saw on Pinterest. Again, it was years ago, so I don't remember all of them. I remember that it took me a few days to do that one, and I was really proud of the result. This is another practice painting from the same tutorial. Here's I sketched a little bird for fun. This one represents the sea foam. I think it was also part of the tutorial I was following. I know for a fact that this one is from another YouTuber that I can't remember, it was too long ago. I think this one is from Imagination. I like that one. And you know, when you're following YouTube tutorial about watercolor, they tell you the most important thing is trying stuff and having fun. I tried stuff, I didn't have fun, and I didn't like the result at all. It happens. I'll be honest, I don't remember that one. I cannot tell you if I had a reference or not. Here's I practiced some flowers, and I struggled a lot, and from that moment I decided I didn't like painting flowers, but I changed my mind later, fortunately. Okay, that one is the view from my in-laws' cabin. I have a strong emotional attachment to this landscape, so I'm very happy to have it there. This one is a costume I was imagining for LARP I wanted to participate in. And yeah, now it tells me that it was in 2019. I started that sketchbook because that one I did it in early 2020. So you can assume what happened to that event. It never happened. I did some tests with my watercolor. On this page, I swatched this kit. It's just a very basic kit. And that one is this little kit I bought from Nicole's Dream. She's an artist from Australia. She used to make handmade watercolors. I absolutely love that kit. And this one is made with that kit. You can see by the very bright yellow. There's just a little landscape. I'm pretty sure I just winged it. I don't think I had a reference for that one. Okay, this one is objectively ugly, but it taught me something very important, that I cannot mix these two kits of watercolors. The colors definitely don't fit together. Here's a little cottage I found on Pinterest. There was a time I was absolutely obsessed with fairy tale lies cottages, and I loved that one a lot and decided I wanted to keep it. So I painted it. This one was from a Pinterest reference too. I love monochromatic painting. It's really fun to work with, and it really helps you to learn controlling the intensity of colors. This one too is from my fairy tale house Pinterest board. I love the tower, but I hate the background. I visibly didn't put any effort in it. This is once again the lake at my in-laws cabin with a beautiful sunset I wanted to capture. This one, if I remember correctly, yeah, I wanted to do Inktober that year. It didn't last long, but here's the first illustration I did for that challenge. That's the second one I did for the challenge, but this one here, I remember this one very clearly. We were house hunting because we were moving region, and one of the house we were looking at had that beautiful greenhouse, and I was in love with the greenhouse. Unfortunately, this is not the house we finally got, but I am happy to be able to remember the beautiful greenhouse. Here you can see from the correct angle, sage burning. Here we have a very generic pastel sunrise. That one was part of Inktober too. For that one, I had a vision of exactly this, but it took me 3 tries to get there. That's why this one is on another watercolor paper that I glued here. Apparently that day I was inspired by very fruity cold treats. Oh, and another fairy tale cottage. I have the reference there this time. And that's another picture I found on Pinterest that I absolutely love. And I knew my little watercolor kit would be perfect to paint this one. This is obviously Cardcaptor Sakura. I loved that show when I was growing up, and I rewatched it with my daughter and did that painting to commemorate that memory. Okay, here we have a very ugly penguin. I don't remember its story, but I remember this Chinese crease dog. It was from a TV show. Don't remember the name, but I really love that ugly dog. This is my first dabble in a more kawaii style. I don't think the result is very good, but I had fun doing this one. And as anyone, I had that period of time where I was obsessed with Vikings, probably because the TV show. We are at the start of my Alice in Wonderland series. I decided to make one illustration per chapter of Alice in Wonderland. It was a project for my YouTube channel. Those videos are not available anymore because they were absolutely awful, but I still have those illustrations that I like. This is chapter 2 when the room is flooded and Alice meets a mouse. Here's the mouse telling her story to all the birds and other animals around. I remember that I took note of all the animals that were mentioned in the chapter. In this chapter, Alice eats a cookie and grow and fill an entire room. As a reference for this painting, I took a picture of a Barbie in a Kleenex box. I think it kind of showed, don't you think she has a very Barbie-like face? I love that one. This is my favorite scene in Alice in Wonderland. I'm just very sad that the rainbow mushroom didn't end up the way I wanted. So we have Alice, the Duchess, and the Cheshire Cat. Is that how you pronounce that? The Tea Party with the Mad Hatter and the March Hare. Here's Crockett with the Queen of Hearts. I really based the design of the Queen and the King after playing cards. Those two chapters are with the Griffin and the Mock Turtle. I don't like those chapters, and I think it kind of looks like I didn't like those chapters in the illustration. Here we have the Mad Hatter trial and the attack by the card at the end of the story. This one I made for a YouTube video. It's a white 3K bunny. The reference for this illustration was a video I saw on Threads. I just screen captured it and forgot to take note of the video. The reference for this one was a YouTube thumbnail that YouTube kept recommending to me. It was super cute and I took inspiration from this. And here we are to the part where I wanted to design postcard, Canada postcards. I have a series of animals. The first series is more of a cutesy style. So we have a bear, a beaver, a moose, and a goose. I ended up not liking the result, so I redrawn them in another style. Here's the second moose. Pines in two different styles, and birch trees, maple leaves, because you cannot make anything about Canada without some maple leaves. Here are the more not really realistic, but a bit more realistic style with the black bear, beaver, and moose. I like the moose. I really like the moose. And some text to add to the postcard. Okay, those are the most recent ones. I did it in the last 3 months. This one is important. It's not good at all, but it sparks joy. I discover I love whimsical stuff. I love drawing, fairy tale cottage and ponies and flowers and rainbows. It's the most crooked rainbow ever, but it sparked joy. And here you have an Afghan hunt. This one is from imagination. Oh, well, I had a reference for the dog, but the rest is from imagination. And here we are in the totally whimsical stuff. I love this illustration of my little gnome with his frog and snail friends. I got the inspiration from Mimimu's illustration idea generator. It gives us a gnome and a winged bunny knitting rainbows. this is the Warsaw Mermaid, the symbol of the city of Warsaw. I went to Warsaw last summer with my family. I totally messed up the color. It looks like chocolate. So let's just pretend it's a chocolate version. This is the second to last page. I'm very disappointed with this illustration. I think I just rushed it to finish the sketchbook. I was too excited and did a bad job. Here's the final one. I went back to cute stuff, and that's the end of this notebook. Oh, and it's just a sticker from Japanese candy I ordered on the internet. I don't know what it means. If you know, you can tell me in the comments. So this is it for my very first sketchbook ever. I already bought my next watercolor sketchbook. Here it is. I don't know that brand. I went by characteristic. It had everything I wanted. Let's open it and see what it looks like. I might keep this for future reference. So from what I see, this is a very textured paper. I think I like it. The binding is of good quality. I love the paperweight. Yeah, I think I will love this new sketchbook. So, if the first one you just saw was of any indication, I'll see you in a few years for the sketchbook tour. Just joking, I take art way more seriously now. I have a daily practice now, so I really hope it will take me maybe a few months or a year. That's the goal. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this sketchbook tour, my very first one. I hope you liked it. Please like the video and you can subscribe for more. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.